Hi there, it's Catherine, and I am so happy to be with you. I feel like today is the first day since I got COVID on the last week of March, really, that I'm really beginning to feel like I'm back. Not 100%, but like 98%, maybe even 99%. And I feel so blessed and so lucky to be back with you. And I can tell because I had been having all this fogginess, and I kept saying, I'm so sorry, I have COVID brain. And I'm starting to put pieces together. Oh, here's Karamia. She's coming to say hello. um, And I want to talk to you today about our June Lipedema Awareness Month. Um, so, we've been engaged in Lipedema Awareness Month probably for 9 years. I think the first, no, 10 years. Yep, 10 years. Because the first time I was in the UK and I was celebrating with all of the incredibly lovely ladies, the Brits, who are brilliant, really just wonderful. So much has come from the Brits. So that was in 2013. So I guess it's 9 years. The first one was 2013. Mm. And then, coming and doing them here in the US, we did webinars, we did Q&A, we did all sorts of how do we raise awareness. We had several years where we gave access to the documentary and some of the other tools that we've developed. Now the documentary is available for anyone, everyone on Facebook. We did that a few years ago. So, why raise awareness about lipedema? There's a handful of us. Um, there is, there are approximately 17 million women in the U.S. Let me say that again. There are approximately 17 million women in the U.S. You may be one of them that um, knows about it because you're here. For you to even be here is probably because you know about lipedema. But think of the literally millions who don't. And I know in my own life, when I finally had a diagnosis, and over these past years, with the research that we've been doing and others have been doing, it's become more and more obvious that there's a pathophysiology, that there is, in fact, um, uh, uh, physical um, causes that are hormonal, that are lymphatic, that are metabolic. So, this whole notion of it's not your fault, huge, 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 huge. When I started to actually say that to myself, I have to tell you, even years later, since that first happened was in 2012, when I first spoke the words, you mean it's not my fault? Um, Even with all of that, there's some part of me always not totally convinced. Somehow there's still something that says, oh, I must be doing something wrong. So I continue on my journey of self love, self forgiveness, self acceptance, and listening to all of the guest speakers that I bring on. So we have done more information, knowledge, and this year, first, let me say, over the past several years, we've had incredible webinars. And within the webinars, we've had engaged conversations. And this year, we're doing something slightly different. Last year we had 10 webinars during the month of June on all the different topics. This year we're doing a 2-day boot camp, and it's actually a month-long boot camp. We're going to be having various webinars, but something that is going to be different this year is that so many of our ladies who are part of the tribe, people will say, what's the tribe? Well, the tribe is a membership group. And so many people have asked us, what is it? Why do you have it? You know, why is there a charge for it? There's a nominal charge. Um, okay, we have very comprehensive and intensive master classes. Just by the very nature, the staffing and the back end, there's a cost to it. And so people said, well, we need to do something that more people can afford. So that was one of the tenets of the membership group. That's number one. Affordable support day in and day out. Number two, we started the tribe literally the week before the US went into shutdown. Didn't know the US was going into shutdown. All I knew is it was time for us to gather together in a much more comprehensive way and with more open communication in order to support one another. And that was the end of February, the beginning of March. We went into shutdown here in the US on March 11th. So it was literally the week before, which blows me away, always blows me away, because I personally believe that there is a higher power guiding this unfoldment and that I'm just its one of its um, mm, conduits, if you will, a vehicle for it, because I believe it's much, much, much bigger than me and Gail and Leslin and Siobhan and all of our coaches, that we are here to be of service. And that's really what we're doing. So going back to the membership group, the tribe, low cost. Number two, communication structure, where we can ask and get questions answered on an ongoing basis within a community. And that's number three, to have a solid community. We have all kinds of community activities. We have exercise, but they're not really exercise, they're more like stretching and movement classes 5 days a week. We have a meditation group twice a month. We have a book club once a month. We have a Q&A session where you can ask anything and within the community get answers by our director of coaching, community manager, and our coaches. And and plus you have access to a library of information so that almost at any point you can get an answer online if you want it. So while we have an amazing, amazing community already, there's so many more. And so this year, during Lipedema Awareness Month, we're having Lipedema Awareness Summer Boot Camp. It's summer here in the US, so I'm going to go with that. So please, if you're in one of the countries that isn't in summer, please, maybe I should call her, maybe I should skip the summer. Except here, summer camp is a big deal here in my area, so that's why I got it. I don't know, we might change it. If anybody has any thoughts, leave it in the chat for me if you think we should call it something else. So the entire month of June is going to be opportunities to learn more, to connect more, to really get a sense you belong here. If you do, if you don't, you'll get that too. If it's not lipedema that you're dealing with, then you'll be able to get that and know, and perhaps find the group that's right for you. And so To say that I'm thrilled about it is an understatement. It's exciting. And it's exciting to do something new, even though, all of these pieces we do all the time, putting it together for those who are new to lipedema, or those of you who just want more information or want to connect more, is just fabulous. So I'm basically saying save some dates. The actual 2 day, and it might be 3 days, but it's June 24th, 25th, and 26th. And leading up to that, there'll be numerous webinars. There'll be group. We have been doing something called Coaches Corners. A coaching corner is where you can get a lot of your questions answered. But in addition to that, I'll be doing Q&A numerous times through the month, as will Leslin and Siobhan and Gail and our coaches. So yeah. So stay tuned. And we'll next week I'll have links, but you'll probably get links this week because we'll be emailing them all out. And I'm just taking a deep breath. And another one. It's always been my experience when there's been a tough challenge, and believe me, COVID was a tough challenge. On the other side, there's a new level of engagement, there's a new level of clarity, there's a new level of creativity. So we'll see how it goes. Last year, for our Lipedema Awareness Month, we had over 14,000 people come through. I went and looked at the figures, which was amazing. We had 14,638 was the figure. Is that remarkable? And perhaps you were one of them. And so thank you for stopping in. Thank you for joining me on these Sunday mornings. I really appreciate you, my friend. I really appreciate that we can be on this journey together. Have a fabulous and blessed week. May you find the health